Hey everybody, just a little preface for this video. It's going to be a long video. Nothing I can do about that. A lot of stuff to cover, a lot of stuff to go over. I started this video in May of 2024, and I did 4 days of driving up from Bakersfield up north until I got to Fresno, and then it got really hot. We had a brutal summer last year, and then my dad passed away, and I did not have time, the energy, or the motivation to get back into this until about a week and a half ago, and it's May of 2025 now. So anyway, here we go with this video. Hey everybody, how's it going? I've decided that I'm going to do a piece on a subject that is quite controversial. It's been controversial in California for quite some time, and that controversy is kind of starting to spread as people find out across America just how much of their taxpayer dollars are going to this project that they will likely never have anything to do with. And as much as I try to keep politics off my channel, there's really no way to discuss this project without igniting political opinions on both sides. And that's okay. That's whatever, as long as we're civil with each other. And that subject is the California High-Speed Rail. The California High-Speed Rail Act was signed into law by Arnold Schwarzenegger in 2008. And in doing a little research, I really couldn't find any completion date from the beginning of the project when it was signed. I didn't go dig into the bill and try to find any dates. I just did some basic research, but it doesn't matter. The original outlay, the one that I can find, was $20 billion to complete the project from Los Angeles to San Francisco. And one thing I did find was that an estimated completion date of phase 1, which is the piece that is under construction now between Bakersfield and Madera, is 2030. And the completion date, the estimated completion date for the entire project from Los Angeles to the Bay Area is 2050. Now, they began construction on this in 2015, and I was still working up the valley at the time, and they were starting to build some of the support structures, clearing out places along in Fresno, doing things like that, and they started the grading, they started building some of the bridges, and I haven't been up there in a while, so I'm sure they've come a lot further. As of right now, the project that's supposed to go to Bakersfield is stalled right here. This is where the grading stops, and we are about 1 mile north of the city of Shafter, which is about, I don't know, 12 or 15 miles north of Bakersfield. And as you can see behind me here, there's nothing going on behind me. This is still tied up in eminent domain lawsuits. There are all kinds of issues over property rights between here and Bakersfield, and there's absolutely nothing going on in Bakersfield right now. I believe that the station for this is supposed to be downtown somewhere, but there's nothing going on with any of that. The city is probably waiting to find out what's going to happen before they commit any resources to the project. But anyway, as you can see behind me, it is graded, but since I've been here in the last 15 minutes or so, I've seen 2 pickups go through here. Looks like they're farmers, and they're just using it for access. You can drive right through there. Probably a smoother road than Central Valley Highway over here. But although I am a railroad person, I've always been opposed to this, not because I have a problem with high-speed rail or the technology involved. I think it's fascinating. I think it's great. But it's horribly expensive. They've already spent almost all the money that the entire project was supposed to cost, and they've yet to lay one piece of rail between here and Madera. So much so that when Gavin Newsom took office, one of the first major decisions he made was to put a stop to any more construction anywhere that it wasn't already under construction, which is Bakersfield and Madera, and reclassify it as a proof of concept rather than something that's going to actually move people around efficiently. Right now, they don't have the power to operate. It's going to be supposedly run by electricity, and the California power grid simply can't handle it. The Central Valley experiences rolling blackouts every summer because we don't even have enough energy to run our houses. And I thought it was funny that the California government tries to make everybody buy electric vehicles, and they want no more new vehicles sold after 2030 in California that aren't electric. And then last summer they told people, don't charge your electric cars during peak hours after you get off work. If we can't do that, how are we going to run the California high-speed rail? My understanding is that right now they're planning to use the diesels that Amtrak uses. And I don't know how fast those can go. I know back east they do like 120 or something like that. I'm not really conversant with that. If you know, let me know in the comments below. But anyway, we are at the southern end of, and before I get onto that, the High-Speed Rail Authority has just said within the last few weeks that they are going to need another $100 billion to complete this project. So yeah, this is a financial boondoggle, and that's why I was opposed to it. I knew it was never going to get completed on time, and it was never going to get done on budget. That is way, way too much money for California taxpayers, and as it turns out, the American taxpayer will have to foot for a plan that may never come to fruition. So let's cruise up the valley and see what's going on. All right, well, we have come a little over 4 miles from where the end of the grading is, and this is the first significant structure that they built, and this is where the high-speed rail gains some elevation and crosses over the BNSF tracks. A little bit back the other way before we get about, I don't know, half mile down, there's a pretty good sized bridge where they eliminated a grade crossing, and there will be no grade crossings on the high-speed rail, for obvious reasons. This is the first, and it is a significant structure. Let's flip this around and look a little more closely. All right, that is looking back down to the south from the way we came. And I would say that this whole structure is probably a 1/4 mile long. Maybe even a little longer than that, but then you can see that it stays on an elevated structure, drops back down, and goes through the city of Wasco. So let's go up to Wasco, see what's happening there. All right, we are here in central Wasco. And one of the benefits of this is that Wasco is going to get a new Amtrak. I wouldn't call this a station, it's just a platform, but the access to it looks pretty cool. Let's check it out. It's got handicap access here. I don't see any stairs, so this is all it is. That's cool. It's always nice to see. But mention some of the drawbacks, some of the issues I had with California high-speed rail. And as I said, I don't have a problem with high-speed rail, electrified, but we should have started this on the East Coast. I know there are some high-speed sections back there. Brightline has their section down in Florida. But Up the Central Valley in California, it just really doesn't make sense. You can fly from Los Angeles to San Francisco in a couple of hours. Yeah, and I know you got to go deal with the airport and all that. And people say, yeah, but the airports aren't really close to anything. And that's true, but that's true with every big city. I've never been in a big city where the airport was in a convenient place. And it's the Central Valley. This section from Bakersfield to Madera. I've lived in Bakersfield or around Bakersfield my whole life, and the only times that I've ever needed to go to Madera was when I was working and I had the valley, the Fresno sub up here, and my territory went up just to north of Madera. Who needs to go to Madera from Los Angeles or from Bakersfield or the other way? It's just a lot of money for a. I just can't see the benefit in it. I really can't. All right, there's the station, street levels up there. And I don't know, maybe they, by law or something, maybe they had to make these access ways as wide as they are. Here's some stairs, some steps over here, so you don't have to go the long way. There are probably some on the other side too. I just didn't notice them. But yeah, in Wasco, you're not gonna have it's not like we have a rush hour here. And this is the BNSF main line here, the line the Amtrak uses, and I've seen no trains. As you can see that this sign right here says train number 702, system delay due to freight traffic. We apologize for the inconvenience. Well, that's not true today because there isn't any freight traffic. I mentioned back at Wasco that there will be no crossings at grade, and there are quite a few of these projects going on. There were quite a few crossings between Wasco, which is just right back there, going north along the BNSF tracks here, and they're paring that down to just one every, I don't know, man, maybe one every 5 miles or so, where you can get across the tracks. And probably inconvenient for some folks, but that's the way it's got to be. They voted for this, so they get to deal with it. All right, we've come up about 6 miles from the last place we were, and you can see this bridge behind me. The difference between this bridge and the ones down around Wasco is that we are no longer along the BNSF tracks. About 3 miles, maybe 4 miles north of Wasco, the CHSR veers off to the northwest, and right now we're about 3 miles north of the BNSF tracks. But let's flip this around. I want to talk about this bridge a little bit. One of the things I've noticed about almost all these bridges is that they are not ornate. They're just basic, heavy concrete structures, and I can appreciate that from a taxpayer standpoint. At least they're not wasting a lot of money with stonework and trying to make this thing beautiful out in the middle of nowhere. And you saw that pickup going across the bridge there up on the right-of-way. I'd be willing to bet that's the only thing that goes over that bridge for the next 10 years. Well, there is the overpass for Avenue 56, the road to Alpa. And I said there must be some kind of drainage to get one side of the wetlands to the other. Well, just drove about a mile up the road, and this answered my question. It is going to be elevated across the wetlands, I believe this is, I know that Pozo Creek empties out here somewhere, and I believe up there where that, where those, not the palms are, but where those trees, see that little bridge, I believe that's Deer Creek. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's what that is. It's empty right now. It's empty most of the year. But yeah, this is all going to be elevated. I drove down there beyond the creek, and these pylons are all the way down to the other end of this storage area. All right, we are up here. That is the Smithfield Mill right there. I'm not sure what this road here is. This is DIA 43. I don't know what that means, but anyway, you can see that the grading is kind of petered out right here. I don't know if they're going to put an overpass here or what. You can see where the grading resumes down there, but they've done nothing here. All right, well, we are in Hanford, actually about probably 3 or 4 miles east of downtown Hanford. BNSF it goes right through downtown. The construction you see behind me here is for the high-speed rail, and as you can see, it just ends right there. I had to go to Google Earth to figure out where this has and hasn't been graded, and most of it's been graded between here. We're about 25 miles north of the last place that we stopped, which is down by Corcoran, and it's actually crossed Highway 43, let's see, 1, 2, 3 times since then, weaving in and out. Highway 43 is pretty much goes straight up the valley. So there's a lot of construction between here and Corcoran where they're doing where it's crossing back over the road a couple of times. Some of it I didn't see any grading, just some buildup of where it's going to be, I guess. I don't know. I didn't stop there because it was tight quarters and a lot going on, a lot of trucks in and out. But I thought that Hanford was actually supposed to be one of the places where the high-speed rail was going to stop. They've got the overpass that's going to go over. That's Highway 198, California 198 right there. And that runs up into the Sequoia Forest and out all the way over to Highway 101. All right, driven about 2 miles, 3 miles north of Highway 198. See, this is a pretty significant structure under construction, and they are pouring the foundations, or not the foundations, but the supports for the overpass, or Grangeville Road is about a half mile down that way. But I didn't see and don't see anywhere where a station is going to be able to be. So I guess Hanford isn't going to be one of the stops. And I'll be honest with you, I've never really dug into the maps of this place to see. They're kind of vague anyway. But oh, there's a big old piece of something getting ready to go in there. And this is like a marshalling yard here for their stuff. There's a batch plant over there. There are cement trucks in and out of here. Your typical big construction site. A lot of work going on. So let's cruise back up toward Greenwich. You can see how significant this is. And the most important part of the project right there. But just so you can get a scope of the idea of the scope of this, this entire structure is about, I don't know, the whole thing is maybe 3/4 of a mile long. But you can see the enormity of this thing, how huge it is. And as I said at the beginning, and I'll say throughout this and at the end, this is a fascinating project. I just question the sensibility and the expense and the timing. But it is impressive. It's an impressive project. And this substation here looks relatively new, and I thought maybe it was part of this, but the gentleman I spoke with said no, this is just part of Edison's deal for Hanford, and not connected with the high-speed rail project, which has always been one of the other questions I had about this project. It's where are they going to get the power to run this thing? All right, well, we are now in Fresno, at the very south end of town. This is actually an area called Calwa, but it is South Fresno. This is the heavy industry part of town, you might say. Not that they have any manufacturing, big stuff like that, but just a lot of businesses where trucks are. Anyway, when I was still up here, and the last time I saw this, when I was still working up here, right here at this abutment right here, is where this project ended, going south. We are looking north right now, and they were in the middle of building. They had the arches done up there. That is where it crosses Highway 99 and Cedar Avenue right there. And from here through Fresno, I believe the whole thing is supposed to be elevated, but I haven't been here since 2019 as far as looking at any of this. And so yeah, let's go check out what it looks like through Fresno. Well, I got a drone in the intervening year and threw it up in the air here. This is looking south. And then this is looking north across the across Highway 99 and Cedar Avenue, and turning off to the left in the distance there. I thought this was all elevated, but it is not all elevated. It's only elevated mostly on this end and drops down around the downtown area. Okay, we are headed north on Cedar Avenue. Just about to cross Highway 99. You can see those arches over Highway 99 there to the right from the high-speed rail. And we're getting to go under it. One of the things that I have been reminded of after not having been up here in this area for quite some time is how much I hate this part of. I'm not a fan of Fresno itself, but I really hate this part of Fresno. It's just so incredibly busy with trucks and beat up roads, and the places that trucks are turning into and coming out of. It takes forever to get anywhere up here. Just popping up to our left again, going across that field. You can see that water tank over there, and we are going to get on Railroad Avenue, and this parallels the Union Pacific tracks. That is the BNSF yard over to the right on the other side of the fence, and the BNSF crosses the UP back here behind us. The drone up again. That last clip and this one were almost exactly a year apart, and as you can see, they've accomplished virtually nothing. Only figured I'd get at least one train in here, at least a piece of one. This is a westbound BNSF or Compass southbound coming into the yard from Church Street down towards Calwa. See a little switching going on in there too. Okay, we have moved up. This is Highway 180. Here we're looking north. And that is Divisadero? Yeah, Divisadero, that street right there. And it appears that the HSR is going to go underground here. When I was still working, they were just starting that excavation right there. There was no concrete or anything. They were just digging that up. And I wondered if that's what they were going to do. And so it looks like that is what they're going to do. So we'll cruise over to the other side and see what's going on over there. All right, there is 180. We are on the north side of it. And there's the wall that will separate Union Pacific from the HSR. And this appears to be where they're going to run the train underground, underground level, whatever you call it, the trench through this part of Fresno. So the deal on the other side was the entrance to that, as I speculated way back when I was still working. Now, I want to show you something else here that's interesting. You see where those cars are parked there? This is the west leg of the Mendota branch. And the switch is up there under the bridge. That hasn't changed. What has changed is that the branch line used to come off right there about where that signal is. It came off to the right of that signal and went about across somewhere about there's a canal right there, about where that open area is, or that cutout area, I say, right in front of us, and went right up there. You can see the old road bed, went right along those warehouses to the left and crossed way up there. You can see a crossing, and it actually right at that crossing it curved off this way. So they have moved that out. Let's go over there and look at that. And you can see where they straightened that out. Brought it right down through here. Kicked it out that way and then brought it back in over by the crossing. Yeah, gave them some more room to work on the project, I guess. Little point of interest for you railroad folks. That cage right there used to be part of, I think it was one of Zacky's elevators here. This elevator's been abandoned for quite some time now, but while they were still switching it, they kept their own switch engine inside that cage at night or when they weren't using it, so it couldn't be vandalized. All right, from what I've read, this is where the high-speed rail station will be in Fresno. There's nothing here except a great big parking lot with solar panels. And it said that the station, and it just says it's going to be delineated by Ventura Street, which is over there, and H Street, which is the street running this way, where those lights are flashing across the tracks over there. Those are the Union Pacific tracks. These tracks right here, these are the old UP tracks. And these were abandoned. They made a line change to accommodate all of this. When they did that, they abandoned these tracks. They ran right in front of the depot there. And then it said that 8th Street, which is this street, and this is the Fresno Fire Department here. But yeah, they'll have to rip all this stuff here out before anything else can happen. Looks like they're a long way from that. But anyway, this is where the station will be. Okay, I have come up to just north of Herndon Avenue, which is about, oh gosh, I don't know, 5 miles from downtown Fresno, maybe 6. But anyway, this is the next significant structure after the downtown Fresno area where we saw down around Divisadero, where we saw where it goes underground. There's really not a lot going on other than some land clearing and a couple of highway overpasses that are being worked on. Doesn't look like any more significant structures between there and here other than some sound walls where it's going to go. I was going to go in the UP yard, but I don't know anyone there anymore. But yeah, this is the bridge over the San Joaquin River. There is Union Pacific's bridge over the river. Let's throw the drone up and see what this looks like. All right, we're looking south across the San Joaquin River back towards Herndon and Fresno. Got the Highway 99 on the right, the UP bridge in the middle, high-speed rail on the left. A little elevation here. And you can see it just kind of peters out. Kind of more of a dirt road than anything else, heading on up to the north towards Madera. All right, I am just east of Madera, which is about 20 miles north of Fresno. And this is all there is left to the construction. You can see there's a highway overpass there. This is Avenue 11, and there's Avenue 12, so you can see that the highway overpasses are done. But other than that, I am standing on a dirt road that the state of California is calling a high-speed rail. And well, you can see what's done. Okay, I'm not going to go any further north. The further north I come on this project, the less construction on the high-speed rail there is, and the more construction on highway overpasses like these 3 in a row right here. I've seen no more significant construction on the line since the San Joaquin River Bridge. When I was still working up here, none of these bridges were done yet, and this was Avenue 12, the bridge down that way from us, was the end of everything. That was as far as this had been graded. I've heard talk that it's supposed to be graded to Merced. I don't know, I'm not going to go up there. I'm not going to waste any more of my time on Highway 99. I had forgotten how much I hate Highway 99. But anyway, I tried to keep this as objective as possible, but it's really hard to do. All the money that's been spent, all the time that's been wasted on this, and I say wasted because you see there's nothing here. They're not doing anything except talking. And this isn't one of those videos that has this really cool high-priced drone that flies over the whole project and what it's supposed to look like. This is reality. This is what's here. And what's here is not very much. I don't like seeing the government spend this much money and this much time on something with so few results. There's so many other things that we could be spending our money on that could actually help people. And this isn't one of them. This is never going to do the people who really need help right now in the state of California. This isn't ever going to help them. Even if they get this done and all to perfection, it's not going to help those people. Let's help some people now. I don't know. And I always try to keep politics out of my videos. You guys know that. But it's really hard to do where this is concerned. This is a colossal waste of money. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Here are the URLs to my PayPal and my Patreon. If you can help the channel out that way, I'd sure appreciate it. Keep shooting me the ideas. Drop in the comments below. Shoot me an email at motorpoet59@gmail.com. Let me know how you feel about this whole project. I know if you don't live in California, it's probably not one way or the other to you, but yeah, let me know. Let me know if you agree with me or if you disagree with me. It doesn't matter either way. I'm just curious. So anyhow, until next time, see you later.